The doctrine of eternal punishment, a concept incompatible with natural laws. The doctrine of eternal punishment has profoundly marked the religious imagination throughout the centuries. It presents the idea that the spirit could be condemned to endless suffering as a definitive consequence of mistakes made during a single existence. Spiritism analyzes this concept in light of reason, morality, and natural laws, showing its limitations and inconsistencies. From a logical standpoint, the notion of eternal punishment conflicts with the idea of justice. It is not rational that finite wrongs, committed under conditions of ignorance, immaturity, or emotional pressure, result in infinite suffering. Modern science reinforces this perception by showing that nature operates on proportionality, balance, and gradual correction, never through absolute and irreversible punishments. Depth psychology helps to understand why this doctrine emerged. In ancient societies, fear was a tool of moral control. The threat of eternal suffering acted as a behavioral break in contexts where there was still no understanding of ethics, conscience, and internal responsibility. However, this terror-based model produces excessive guilt, emotional paralysis, and a distancing from critical thinking. Spiritism proposes a more coherent view. Spiritual suffering exists, but it is always temporary, educational, and proportional. Punishments are not eternal because consciousness is not static. The spirit learns, reflects, repents, and transforms. Just as in biology there are no permanent states of illness when there is a possibility of recovery, in the spiritual realm there are no definitive states of pain. Science reinforces this logic of continuous evolution. Classical physics demonstrates that systems tend toward equilibrium. Biology shows constant processes of adaptation and regeneration. Human history itself reveals that individuals and societies evolve over time. The idea of eternal stagnation is incompatible with everything we observe in nature. Furthermore, the doctrine of eternal punishment contradicts the principle of divine love and justice. A system that punishes without the possibility of repair does not educate, it only punishes. Spiritism teaches that suffering only makes sense when it leads to awareness, change, and progress. When learning occurs, pain loses its function. By replacing fear with understanding, Spiritism does not weaken morality but strengthens it. Goodness is no longer practiced out of fear of condemnation and becomes lived through understanding, empathy, and conscious responsibility. Life gains coherence when we know that there is always the possibility of starting over and growing. If this reflection helped you better understand spiritual justice and the meaning of suffering, like, share, and leave your comment. Your participation helps this message reach more people.